Okay, now that I've gotten the sense of a bookworm out of the way, I can start doing this again. My first monster battle. Oh, I almost forgot. Someone commented that the next book for A Sense of a Bookworm because we didn't get to see the dinner battle. That's going to be apparently in August. So, yeah, be ready for that. It's only going to be the first part as well until it actually officially comes out on Amazon. So, yeah. My first monster battle. Chomp, chomp. My legs are getting heavy. Part of it is exhaustion from sprinting at full speed for so long, but my shock is the biggest factor. I lost my beloved home. Turning into a spider and having to eat nasty food hadn't perturbed my steely heart one bit, but now there's a little hole right in the center. I knew a time might come when I would be forced to leave my house, but now that it's a reality, I'm totally in shock. I do wonder something. Now that I'm thinking about it, in the last part that I did, when they destroyed her little spider home and got the egg, they immediately brought it to Schlein and them. Wouldn't they have still been a baby at this point? Or how long was she in the timeline kind of doesn't really match, is what I'm saying. Because I'm assuming that when they all reincarnated, all the others were human babies. I'm assuming various stages of being a baby, but even still, it seems like Schlein and his sister were like kids. So surely there hasn't been years since that time has passed. Right? I'm talking about the timeline kind of doesn't match here. Let's see. I knew a time might come when I would be forced to leave my house, but now that it's a reality, I'm totally in shock. I had assumed I still had more time, which only made things worse. At the very least, I'd hoped to stay in that home until I became at least level 10. That's right, that's enough whining. Time to move on. First, I have to decide what to do next. There are several options. 1. Construct my new home, or my next home, in a different location. 2. Keep wandering aimlessly around this dungeon. Or 3. Try to find the dungeon exit. You have no idea how far down you are in that dungeon, so finding the exit would be impossible, so I would at least make your next home and then try to get stronger, so that way when you did get out of the dungeon at some point, you would be able to handle yourself out there. That's all that comes to mind. From a safety perspective, option 1 is my favorite. However, I feel it may be wise to resist. Having a home is wonderful. On top of satisfying my needs for food and shelter, it gives me a life where I barely have to move at all. I would go so far as to say it's an ideal paradise. However, if I keep resting on my laurels, I'll probably end up a totally hopeless basket case, both mentally and physically. If the only hunting I do is from the safety of my own home, I'll turn into a deadbeat with no ability to deal with any emergencies that might arise. The current situation is proof enough of that. At this rate, if I encounter any opponents who can break through my webbing, my only option is to run away. That's no good. Not if I'm going to get this depressed every time I have to leave my home behind. More than anything, I feel the ashes of my demolished home smoldering inside me. No way, I'm not going to let myself keep running away like this. That's right, I'm frustrated. I'm all broken up that my previous home was destroyed and I couldn't do anything about it. It's maddening that a part of me accepted fleeing as the natural course of action. At the time, my only thought was to drop everything and run. But what do I get now that I've actually done so? Nothing but this horrible shame and regret. How could I run away again? There's no way I'll be able to live with myself. I'm not just upset because my home was convenient, it was such an important place to me. This might be cliched, but it was a place where I belonged. I didn't have anywhere like that in my past life. My family was a joke, and I didn't fit in at school. I liked playing games, but in the end, that was a world of fiction. I didn't belong anywhere in reality. I existed anyway out of sheer defiance, or at least that's what I told myself. I created my spiderweb home by myself, for myself. It was a place just for me, where I didn't have to worry what anyone else thought. And now it's been taken from me. It's like my very self has been stolen away. If I surrender now, I'll never recover my pride and dignity. Happy just being alive. That was just my idiotic, peace-loving Japanese self talking. If I have to live with that pride, I may as well be dead. I realize that all too clearly now. My home was gone, my pride has been injured. I have to get stronger so that I can never disgrace myself like that again. And if this happens again, you can actually fight back and defend your home. And if I want to do that, I can't just hide away in a new home where I can hunt safely. I have to build more experience through actual combat, which means I should either wander around the dungeon randomly or aim for the exit. Although, to be honest, there isn't a huge difference either way. I have no idea where the exit might be. So really, aimless meandering is my only other option. I don't know much about the dungeon to begin with. Even though I was born and raised here, I don't even know its name. I have no idea how big it is or how difficult. I don't even know the general makeup of the terrain. Basically, I'm clueless. I mean, that's what happens when you stick around in your home all the time and never leave it. I feel like this isn't the first time I've worried about all this stuff I don't know. Ah, that's right. This happened when I got the appraisal skill, too. I totally forgot I had that. I wasn't able to level it up anymore in my new home, but now that I'm out and about, I should be able to. Since it might be a bit more useful if I raise its skill level, I decided to go on appraising things. Well, here goes nothing. Labyrinth wall, labyrinth floor, labyrinth ceiling. Useless as ever, I see. I mean, dude, just keep using it until you can't, and it'll eventually level up. Eventually. Because, I mean, even if it takes like gives you one experience point per appraisal, eventually that adds up. Yes, it'll be a pain in the neck, but as you get further along, you might actually, get more experience when you appraise higher level monsters, maybe. But with each step I take, I get more appraisal results, so my proficiency must be accumulating. Oof, of all that information flowing into my brain at once is kind of discomforting. I'll have to suffer with it for a while until I get used to it, I guess. Proficiency has reached the required level. Skill appraisal level 2 has become appraisal level 3. And right away, my skill level's up. It hasn't even been that long since I started appraising. I mean, now that you've left the area, maybe using it more gives you more experience. So it's this easy to raise skill levels when you're not holding up at home? I'm not sure how I feel about that. Well, all's well that ends with a rank up. Now, what new information will skill level 3 bring? I waste no time in analyzing myself. Small lesser pterodactyl, level 5, nameless. Hey, it shows my level now. Yippee! Well, gotta take what I can get, I suppose. Well, you are getting more information the more you level up, so... Seriously though, how high does the level even have to be for this skill to actually be useful? Ugh. Don't they get appraisal up to level, 10? At the most? You're already at level 3. And you've got 7 more levels to go at the very least. Still, I have to wonder, how strong is my race, Small Lesser Pterodactyl, compared to the other monsters in this dungeon? This idle thought leads to an unexpected response. Small Lesser Pterodactyl, young offspring of inferior pterodactyl. What? Wait, did I just appraise the species name in my results? Double appraisal? Ooh, seems like I discovered a pretty important trick. Well then, in the spirit of investigation, I decided to try appraising one more time. Pterodactyl, a spider-type monster, species. It works! Is this crazy or what? So when you appraise something and get a word you don't know in the result, you can appraise that further. Wow, okay. The explanations are still pretty short and scarce on the information, but once I raise the skill level some more, this could be insanely useful. I might be able to get a whole chain of info just from appraising one thing. Hot damn! Sorry for calling you useless, Mr. Appraisal. I'll definitely work hard to raise your skill level from now on. I wander about the labyrinth looking for monsters that can make suitable opponents. Found one. Elro Frog, level 3. I mean, she kind of could get an idea. If it says Elro Frog, maybe it's the Elro Dungeon? Maybe? Far down the passageway I'm hiding in, I see the outline of my sworn enemy, the Frog. Since I have the chance, I decide to appraise more detailed information about it. Elro Frog, a frog-type monster that lives inside the Great Elro Labyrinth. Oh, you just got the name of the place. Wait just a second. There was a very important sounding key phrase in that description. Great Elro Labyrinth. Largest labyrinth in the world connecting the continents of... Dastrudia and Kasanagara underground. This isn't how I expected to find out my location. So the dungeon I'm in is called the Great Elro Labyrinth. I've been wondering what Elro could be since it's attached to monsters' names so often, but I didn't realize it was the name of the dungeon. Wait, so this is the world's largest labyrinth. It must be huge then. I mean, it's big enough to hold fucking dragons in it. And if you're about the size, maybe half the size of a human, you know, height-wise, and you are tiny in comparison to the dragons you fight later, this place has got to be huge. Not just in height, but in, like, width, too. And hold on, how could it connect 2 continents underground? Does that mean right above this dungeon is the ocean? Maybe? Or it could be something like how North America and South America are right next to each other. Maybe that's the kind of connection it's talking about. But even still, that'd be partially under the ocean. So, yeah. Yikes, for real. It must be freaking gigantic. While I'm at it, I appraise the names of the 2 continents. Dastrudia, a continent populated by many human nations. Casa Nagara, the world's largest continent. Huh. If I'm going to escape then, it sounds like I should avoid Dastrudia with its high human population. But I don't exactly see myself having much of a choice there. In any case, I've gotten so wrapped up in appraising that I almost forgot about the frog. Its back is turned toward me, so it hasn't noticed me yet. Maybe I should launch a surprise attack? Hold on. I thought for a second, wait, did I record? That would be annoying if I hadn't started. Too late. Now it spotted me. Damn it. Maybe I can intimidate it? Spud. Huh? Hey, what's the big idea? You're not supposed to spit at me right off the bat? I mean, that almost hit me. What's the point? It's trying to hit you. Blup, 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 blup. Don't spit a bunch of times in a row. Hey, wait, huh? I thought I dodged all of them. Ow! Thanks to poison resistance, it isn't nearly as bad as that first time, but it still hurts. Knock it off. I didn't expect these things to be so damn bouncy when they're not wrapped up in my web. Well, I mean, it's a frog. What do you expect it to do? Not hop around? That's what they're known for. Split, split, split. Cut it out already. Ugh, got me again. Crap, at this rate, I'm going to get my ass handed to me. Alright, I have no choice but to best up my special attack. Split, split, split. I'm not going to keep falling for the same attack over and over, buddy. It's obvious by now that you can only fire 3 of those at a time. Don't underestimate the observation and evasive abilities of the gamer they once called Skanda. I'm going to evade your spin attacks. I lunged at the frog with my claws at the ready. Crap, it dodged like I figured it would. Wait, it just jumped. It's trying to hit me with its tongue. Ow! There must have been acid on the tongue, too. The spot where it touched me is burning. Oh, Jesus, a serious injury. If I have an HP gauge, I'm probably getting into the red by now. One more hit and I'll be in serious trouble. I mean, if you... Surely you'd be able to at least see your information at some point by now. Luckily, this isn't going to happen. The winner has already been decided because my thread was waiting where the frog was about to land. The trick is simple. I just laid my silk along the dungeon floor as I dodged the spit attacks. I seem to have a habit of unconsciously leaving it on the ground as I move anyway, so this time I used that to my advantage. All I did was add some stickiness to the thread trail behind me. Then I just had to lure the frog over to that area. I did so by carefully controlling the speed and angle of my claw attack to send it leaping in the right direction. I wasn't expecting it to counterattack in midair, but as soon as it landed, the frog gets caught in my thread. Doggedly, I jump in to wind more threads around it. Then I finish it off with my poison bite. Within moments of receiving my venom, the frog draws its last breath. Proficiency has reached the required level. Skill Acid Resistance Level 2 has become Acid Resistance Level 3. Another skill level went up. That should make my next frog battle a little easier. Honestly, if I didn't already have the acid resistance skill, the damage I took might have been too much for me to survive. Yeesh, that was close. My body is in a sorry state now. 2 spit attacks and 1 smack from the tongue were enough to put me on the verge of death. Yeah, you definitely need to get leveled up. The tongue attack was especially bad. The area where it touched me is concave now, and the impact busted several of my legs. I wasn't even underprepared this time. I kind of figured that if a spider fought another monster head-on without a web, the chances of the spider winning would probably be pretty low. Still, I think somewhere in the back of my mind was the naive confidence that it would work out somehow or other. To be honest, it was a lot harder than I thought. My first real battle was a decidedly narrow victory. Anyway, with this major injury, I can't move very well anymore. I had to make a simple home here and focus on nursing my wounds for now. The simple home is really just a basic little nest. I leave the dead frog alone for later and start spinning a web. Ugh, every time I move, a wave of severe pain streaks through my body. Proficiency has reached the required level. Acquired skill, pain level, resistance level 1. Oh, a new skill? Sure enough, the pain has subsided a little. Still freaking hurts, though. But either way, this is definitely a good skill to have. I completely agree. As long as I keep surviving, the skill level will probably go up naturally, so that will be a big help. Woo! Finally, my temporary home is finished. Now I can catch my breath. If another monster attacks me right now, I'll be toast. Oh well, since I worked so hard to bring this prey down, I might as well eat it. Yep, experiencing my first real battle made me realize it all over again. I'm so weak. I don't think it's just me. I get the feeling that small lesser pterodactyls aren't that powerful as a species overall. Well, I guess it is a lesser species after all. It stands to reason that I have low attack power and brittle defense. My speed seems decent at least, but it still wasn't enough to dodge that spit attack barrage the first few times. So stats-wise, I can't even outpace a frog. I mean, I think we did see their stats a few videos back or something, and it did kind of show what they were. The only reason I've been able to beat monsters without a problem so far is that I have the advantage of my spiderweb traps. Obviously, fighting head-on is not my forte. Now I really understand how much I've been depending on my home. Anyway, this has made one thing clear. I'm not cut out for direct confrontations. In a face-to-face fight, I'd go so far as to say that everything comes down to whether I can restrain my opponent with my threads or not. In theory, I could just give them a poison bite, but with my lousy stats, I'd probably get smacked. Or smacked down before I could even reach them. So I'll have to use my speed to confuse my opponent and then create an opening or set a trap like I did this time to catch it in my silk threads. Seems like this is going to be my go-to strategy, unless I build a trap in advance and lead them to it. In that case, frogs might be a troublesome opponent for me. After all, they seem to favor a fixed turret strategy where they stay in one place and attack from a distance. They don't move without a reason, so they might be likely to jump into my trap on their own. So many challenges. Now I know my weak points. Or rather, I've realized that I have nothing but weak points. But I can't just give up. If all I want to do is to keep surviving, I could just make a new home, but that isn't good enough. Since I've decided I want to live with pride, I can't depend on that cop-out strategy. For now, though, I need to rest. How long is this injury going to take to heal? In fact, will it even heal on its own at all? Well, whatever. Today has been exhausting. I'm well overdue for some sleep to hopefully recover a bit. So on the note, good night. Oh man, it feels like I fainted. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. My body still hurts. I guess a wound that bad isn't going to heal in one night. Ow, ow. When I try going through my usual stretching routine, sharp pain runs through my broken legs. Oof, my two middle right legs are in particularly bad shape. It feels like they might tear right off if I'm not careful. I'm getting really worried about whether this is going to heal after all. Boing, boing. One of the threads in my web is vibrating. There's a monster caught in my little nest. Usually I would wake up the instant I felt something catch, but it seems like it's been going on for a while. I must have been sleeping more heavily than I thought. It's probably due to all the damage I've taken too. Basilisk, level 4. Ah man, those petrifying lizards are tough. Guess I caught another pain in the butt. What should I do now? Since basilisks have that petrifying gaze, my web trap won't save me from turning to stone with a little eye contact. In my current injured state, taking a hit from a petrification attack seems ill-advised. But I don't want to pass up on capture prey either. Whoop. Oh crap, our eyes met. The ends of my feet got petrified. Fine then, clearly I have no choice. Chump. Thanks to my petrification resistance, I'm turning to stone very slowly. However, losing mobility in my front legs is going to be a problem. It can get really hard to walk if I'm not careful. Please let this thing die before my leggy bits get frozen. Apparently somebody heard my plea because the basilisk runs out of energy when my legs are about halfway petrified. Looks like I can still walk, albeit clumsily. Experience has reached the required level. Individual small lesser pterodactyl has increased from level 5 to level 6. Oh, whoa, what godly timing. All basic attributes have increased. Skill proficiency level up bonus acquired. Proficiency has reached the required level. Skill Poison Fang level 4 has become Poison Fang level 5. Proficiency has reached the required level. Skill Petrification Resistance level 1 has become Petrification Resistance level 2. Skill points acquired. Okay, the fact that 2 of my skills leveled up is pretty sweet, but that isn't even the best part. My carapace falls away from my body. I'm molting. Yes, it's one of the benefits of leveling up. Full recovery via molting. I wasn't sure whether the giant dent in my body would heal, but it's been restored perfectly. Yahoo! Thanks a lot, Basilisk. So I'm going to eat you now. So without even trying, I've succeeded in fully healing my wounds. Now I'm ready for another go at exploring the labyrinth. S4 Skills. My eyes were glued to the book in front of me. What do you think? Impressive, is it not? Katia, the Duke's daughter, who used to be Kanata, grinned at me smugly. Since the day of the appraisal ceremony, she had started coming up to visit me often. At first I called her Kanata, but that felt unnatural for both of us, so she told me to use her current name instead. Karnatia, or Katia for short. But Katia still called me Shun. Since my current name was Shlain, Shun didn't sound too unusual as a nickname, so Katia insisted on doing it. I mean, fair enough. I'm guessing that this skips ahead somewhat, because, though, like I said, the whole egg thing didn't make any sense, because when they gave him the egg, it's not like it skipped ahead to a different time like it's doing right here. No, it gave them the egg when they first got it. Unless, the people who went and got the egg from the labyrinth were bandits, in which case it probably took a bit for them to get the egg, but even still, it shouldn't have taken years. Because surely the egg would have hatched by then. Personally, I didn't mind, but it was annoying that other people assumed things about our relationship since we called each other by nicknames. We really were close, of course, but Katia was a girl now. Because of that, some people got the wrong idea. Leading the way on that front was my sister Sue. Whenever Katia came over to hang out, Sue would seethe and glower at us for a while, then stubbornly take a position between us. Of course! Girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you freaking crushing on your brother or something? Jesus Christ. Every time this happened, Katia could barely suppress her snickering. I know I aimed to be an ideal brother and all, but how did it end up like this? That's why I'm wondering, girl. That's why I'm wondering, dude. Seriously, that's stupid. Recently, I had the feeling that she was even envious of Faye. Getting jealous over your own brother is bad enough, but even over a pet? Really? At that moment, Faye was sitting in my lap, gazing with great interest at the book I was holding. She was so clever that I sometimes found myself wondering if she understood the language here. But of course, I had no way of knowing whether that was the case, and even if it was, I seriously doubted she'd be able to read on top of that. It's a skill encyclopedia belonging to the House of the Duke, you know. See, this one has much more information than the ones you find on the streets. The book contained detailed explanations of currently known skills. It covered their effects, of course, but it also included the conditions required to learn and improve each one. It was like a strategy guide. Incidentally, Katia's manner of speaking in the native language here was very different from her Japanese. Compared to her manly inflection in Japanese, she'd been brought up to speak the country's language in a register befitting an aristocratic young lady. Since I knew who she had been in her former life, the contrast threw me off at first, but I was used to it by now. We only spoke in Japanese when we were alone, after all, and Sue was usually around whenever we hung out, so I encountered the ladylike side more often anyway. Yeah, this is amazing. Couldn't you get as many skills as you want with this? I'm afraid not. Your time is limited, after all. I believe it would be more prudent to choose which skills are the highest priority and spend time on them accordingly. I flipped through the pages eagerly. Some skills I already knew, while others I didn't. When I saw unfamiliar abilities with impressive-sounding effects, I couldn't help but stop and read more about them. You and Sue already have all the basic status skills, do you not? In that case, you ought to improve those as soon as possible. Basic status skills were just the ones that increased your stats, like life, magic, strength, and so on. Those evolve at skill level 10. Oh yeah, that. I wonder what appraisal does when you get to level 10. I can't remember if we've already hit that in the anime or not. The effect becomes much larger, and each time you level up from then on, your stats will increase by a significantly higher amount. We won't be fighting any monsters for a while yet, so we're still level 1. If we acquire these skills now, it'll pay off in incredible stat bonuses when we level up. We were all still level 1. You can only level up by killing living things, monsters, or otherwise. We didn't even have permission to go outside, never mind fight monsters, so we had yet to level up at all. Still, our stats gradually increased as we grew and trained. However, the changes weren't nearly as dramatic as they probably would be with a level up. Ideally, I prefer to evolve the skills twice before leveling up, but that's almost certainly too much to hope for. There were various benefits to a skill reaching level 10. The skill might evolve, or you might gain other sub-skills, but the higher the skill level, the more proficiency was required to raise it further, so getting a skill to level 10 was pretty tough. If you evolve the skills as far as Fortitude, Stronghold, Skanda, and such, the way your stats go up will alter as well. Reaching that point is ideal, but at the very least we ought to reach the preliminary stages of these skills. Makes sense. I'm surprised there aren't any skills that improve your ability to earn XP or proficiency, though. In RPGs, you can sometimes find super rare items and such that did that, but I guess not as much with skills. Indeed, but did you notice anything unusual? Yeah. Having looked through all the skills in the encyclopedia, I knew what Katya was getting at. Sue had been peering over my shoulder at the book too, but she didn't seem to have noticed. She appeared perplexed, not to mention irritated that Katya and I understood each other. There aren't any item production skills. Yeah, if anything, they all seem to be specifically for combat. Yes, while there were enough skills to fill an entire book, not a single one of them was for production or any other non-combat usage. There were a handful that seemed potentially useful for production, but all of those were only secondary effects of combat skills. With such a huge number of skills, it was bizarre that they were all so heavily biased toward one purpose. Katya and I probably only noticed this because we used to play games back in Japan. The people of this world probably just assumed that was what skills were for. It's like this whole world is based around combat. My own muttered observations scared me a little. A world where you can't level up without killing things. Skills that all revolve around battle. A vegan's worst nightmare. Actually, a vegan and a pacifist's worst nightmare. Because they wouldn't be able to do anything. You would have to level up and you'd be able to kill things, which vegans are against. And combat, which a pacifist is against. Oh, God. Really, it was as if this world was encouraging its inhabitants to fight. Not many people know about this yet, but I've heard the Demon Lord's army is rapidly expanding its ranks and armaments. Then that means we may be called upon to battle someday, so until then we should try to become as strong as we can. The only response I could mutter to Katya's grave words was a silent nod. Faye was shifting uneasily in my lap, so I patted her head to reassure her. 6. Bonus stage. My wounds from that frog healed up nicely when I leveled up, so my exploration has resumed. Before long, I find my first prey of the day. Now this is a monster I've never seen before. It has tons of legs like a centipede. Well, might as well appraise it. Appraise it first. Elro Ferrict. Status appraisal failed. Failed? Oh man, it doesn't show the level, so appraisal can fail then. I didn't know that. I'm assuming it's too high level for you to appraise it. Which means it might be too high level for you to fight. Not like it makes much of a difference at the moment anyway. The frog I found earlier noticed me, but this centipede hasn't. This is my chance for a real surprise attack. Speedily yet stealthily, I sneak up behind my opponent. Swish, swish, swish. Hello there, time to die! My ambush is perfectly successful. In fact, my victory is so complete that it's almost anticlimactic. I completely bind the creature with my thread, then I drive my venomous fangs into it to finish the job. The centipede looks unappetizing, and sure enough, eating it is totally gross. Okay, that was interesting. The fact that appraisal failed made me think that this centipede was higher level than your appraisal could work, since it was still like a low level. Which means I thought that it might be, too high level for you to fight right now, like later on. Apparently not. I guess it was just a fail. Just a random chance of failing. On top of that, it must have had a weird poison or something, because I feel kind of sick after eating it. My body has all gone weirdly stiff. Man, since being reincarnated as a spider, I haven't eaten a single meal that could be considered tasty by any stretch of the imagination. I know it's a luxury, but I really want to eat delicious food again. I wonder if there's any cup ramen lying around somewhere. No, doubt it. Probably not, huh? Giving up on that, I continue my exploration. Proficiency has reached the required level. Skill, appraisal level 3, has become appraisal level 4. Oh, my appraisal skill finally leveled up. Recently, I've stopped feeling quite so sick from appraising a bunch of things at once, so that's nice. Okay, now, what new info will I get this time? Small Lesser Terratect, level 6, nameless. Huh? It didn't change at all. Wait, no. Underneath my species name are a few colored lines. From the top, they're green, blue, yellow, and red, with the latter two stuck to each other like a single thick line. What's this? HP bar, MP bar, SP bar. When I appraised the bars, I discovered the first two lines are the hit points that represent my life force and the points representing my magical power, respectively. I still don't really understand what the SP bar is, though. Appraising it again, I learned that it's stamina points. Maybe it's a physical and analog to magical power that will decreases as I move or something? I'm guessing when you were like sprinting it would have used stamina. But why are there 2 gauges? The yellow bar on top is full while the bottom red gauge is reduced by about a third. What's the difference between these two? I don't get it. But it'd be good to keep an eye on my HP, so if possible, I want to appraise myself continuously. I try to do so. Maybe it's kind of like this. Okay, I think it's actually working. Now, as long as I don't deliberately cancel the appraisal, I'll be able to check my HP at any time. That's pretty damn convenient. I'm willing to bet that one of the bars for your stamina points is like physical exertion, like running and jumping and everything, and the other one is for like when you use your abilities, I guess, that aren't magical, you know? Then again, seeing your own health is handy and all, but wouldn't being able to know an opponent's HP, MP, and stuff be even better? If I knew how much HP an opponent has left, I can guess how much longer it'll take to beat them, and if I know when they're about to run out of MP, victory will be as good as mine. Having even a part of the enemy's information will be a huge advantage in a fight. Does this mean this skill has finally become cheat code level useful? Eventually. I knew it! This is why I acquired the seemingly useless appraisal skill. It's certainly not like I had no clue any of this would happen. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, anyway, back to exploring. Oh, hey, another monster. Elro level 2 status appraisal failed. I take it all back. This stupid skill is useless. Why fail me when it matters most? Like I said, maybe they are... It's not too high level because you're lower level than you. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not a high enough appraisal skill? I'm an idiot for getting my hopes up. Because, like I said, maybe it's just not high enough level on the appraisal skill to use on monsters yet. At any rate, I should probably do something about the centipede monster I found. But this time I don't seem to be in a good position for a surprise attack. It seems like it hasn't spotted me yet, but it's facing this way. Oh, I just had a great idea. Sneakily, I started climbing on the wall. Having a spider body is super convenient at times like this. I keep moving until I reach the top. Oof, clinging to the ceiling upside down is a little rough, but as long as I brace my legs, it isn't too bad. Just like that, I continued scuttling along the roof. Hang in there, legs! My stamina gauge is decreasing. Well, I have to focus on my strategy at the moment since I'm just right over the centipede. Nice, nice, it hasn't noticed that I'm right above it. I attach a thread to the ceiling, then descend straight down toward my prey. Then I leap on top of it. The centipede monster flies into a panic, but it's too late. Hope you like getting wrapped up in thread, Anne. Chomp. Operation Whoa, Look Out Above was a huge success. Alright, time for another hard-earned meal. As I eat, I think back to the stamina gauge situation from a second ago. While I was holding onto the ceiling, it was the yellow upper gauge that decreased. It had gone down very slowly as I braced my legs, but now it's fully recovered. Proficiency has reached the required level. Acquired skill paralysis resistance level 1. Whoa, so the centipede could cause paralysis. If I hadn't defeated this guy with a surprise attack, that could have turned out way worse. I better be more careful with them from now on. The red lower stamina gauge seems to be recovering little by little. It was about a third empty before, but now it's going back up. Why? Did I do something that will make my stamina recover? Oh yeah, I'm eating! So that's it, now I get it. So essentially the red gauge is your hunger. In other words, the red gauge displays my total stored physical energy. Okay, so the red one is your physical energy, and the stamina just shows, the yellow one just shows your, like, when you're running and stuff. So maybe the yellow upper gauge is stamina that I use moment to moment then? To test it out, I try dashing around at full speed for a bit. The yellow gauge empties in a blink of an eye. As soon as it runs out, my strength is exhausted. Yep. Jeez, how stupid was that? Running around right after eating. My stomach hurts. Oh. But that proved it. The yellow bar displays immediately available power. When that drops to 0, I get short of breath. But since that stamina is consumed instantaneously, it recovers quickly too. By the time I catch my breath in reality, the stamina gauge has steadily recovered. The red gauge below that represents my total physical strength. This one also went down a bit when I ran a moment ago. If the red bar runs out, I'm probably in trouble. Like I might not be able to move anymore or something. I'd rather avoid that scenario, thank you very much. Food and nourishment seem to restore it, so I just have to be mindful of how much I have left. Swish, swish, swish. Spin, 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 chomp. Thanks for the meal. Experience has reached the required level. Individual, small, lesser terror tech has increased from level 6 to level 7. All basic attributes have increased. Skill proficiency level bonus required. Skill points acquired. Hey, I leveled up again. Too bad none of my skills went up this time, but that's alright. Oh, more prey. Swish, swish, swish. Proficiency has reached the required level. Acquired skill, stealth, level 1. Thump, spin, 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 chomp. Thanks for the meal. Wait, was there something new in the latest announcement? I think the Divine Voice temporary said something just now. Huh? Skill? Stealth? Does that make it harder for enemies to notice me? Oh, hey, more food! Swish, swish, swish. Womp. Spin, spin, spin. Chomp. I'm assuming the spin is him catching them in the threads and then bite. Condition satisfied. Acquired title, Assassin. Ooh! Acquired skills, Stealth level 1, Shadow Magic level 1 as a result of title, Assassin. Skill, Stealth level 1 has been integrated into Stealth level 1. Huh? Thanks for the meal. I heard something again. A title? Come to think of it, this is the first time I've gotten any title since Kid Eater and Foul Feeder. Assassin, huh? It feels like I'm becoming more ninja-like by the minute. Whoopsie. Dinner time. Swish, swish, swish. Boop. Spin, spin, spin. Chomp. Condition satisfied. Acquired title, Monster Slayer. Acquired skills, Strength level 1, Solidity level 1 as a result of title, Monster Slayer. Thanks for the meal. Oh, I heard something again. Monster Slayer? Well, yeah, I've been doing nothing but laying monsters low the whole time I've been in this dungeon. A little late for a title like that, though. I guess you gotta do so many times before you hit that title. Maybe it's that sort of system? The type where you get a title for killing a certain number of monsters? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What? Yet another victim! Swish, swish, swish. Thwomp. Spin, spin, spin. Chomp. Thanks for the meal. Proficiency has reached the required level. Acquired skill, Overeating, level 1. Again? This sure is a busy day. Wait, what do you mean overeating? What kind of a skill name is that? Good question. I have to agree. What the heck is that? Does it have a negative effect or something? Oh, okay, wait a minute. I've been ignoring it all up until now, but it doesn't seem like that voice has been doing its thing a lot today. Yeah, that thing always does its thing because it does the thing to the thing. Okay, what? I should probably calm down for a second. I've leveled up. Cool, it was bound to happen sooner or later with all the hunting I've been doing. I got a stealth skill, that's fine too. I'm not sure how useful it'll be, but it sure beats nothing and I'll take whatever I can get. I received a title, isn't that strange? No, getting a title is a good thing, right? Decent at least, but 2 came in a row, right? What were they? Let's see. Assassin and Monster Slayer. They both sound awfully violent. Well, that isn't any different from any of the titles I've already have, huh? A little late to gripe about that now. So Assassin sounds like a ninja, right? Same for the skills that come with it, Stealth and Shadow Magic. Shadow Magic? Does that mean I can go in and out of shadows and stuff? Is that to manipulate shadows and stuff? I don't know. There ought to be some spells to help me hide in the shadows and assassinate things at least, but either way I don't know how to use it. I told you I don't know how this magic system works. Can I get a manual already? I don't know what Monster Slayer is supposed to be about either. It's because you've been hunting and killing all these monsters. What now? Strength and Solidity? Those are such a vague skill names that I have no idea what they do either. Thinking about it logically, maybe they enhance my stats like attack and defense power or something? Maybe? Either that or they're supplementary skills that temporarily raise stats for a fixed period of time. I'm assuming the former, because Schlein and the others were talking about this before. The former would be fine, but if it's the latter, I have no idea how to use it. I could try just thinking the skill names like I do with appraisal, but nothing seems to happen. I guess my only option is to leave, well, enough alone then. So what was that last part? Overeating? Seriously, is that a negative skill? Who says something like that to a girl anyway? You want to pick a fight with me, Divine Voice? No, it's just that every single time you've caught a monster, you've just chowed down. And that's apparently been over a day since that happened. So, understandable. Because those things are probably big. Are you calling me fat? I'm not. Absolutely not. I just got a little chubby right after eating sometimes, that's all. It goes right back to normal after a good night's sleep. Feast your eyes on these legs, would you? They're so slender they might break at any moment. Oh my god. Human beings only wish they could have stick legs like these. And yet you dare to call me fat? Aside from that, after a meal, I'm super skinny, thank you very much. Well, that was pointless. Nobody really called me fat in my previous life anyway, so I might have overreacted a bit. If anything, they'd make fun of me for being skin and bones. But anyway, today is actually a big day for breakthroughs, huh? I haven't gotten this many skills and bonuses at once before. Maybe I can keep on raking them in like this. Wait, is that too optimistic? Yeah, probably. My labyrinth exploration is going smoothly. In fact, I'm on the verge of bursting into laughter. This seems to be centipede territory considering they're everywhere. These guys are great for grinding AXP. Their senses must be awfully dull or something because they never pick up on my surprise attacks. As long as I come up them from behind or above, my victory is practically guaranteed. Thanks to that, I'm beating them effortlessly. Since I've been eating so many centipedes, my paralysis resistance skill is already level 3. I've also proved the efficiency of my hunting with various experiments and developed something I call a mobile web. All that means is that I carry around a small spider web, but if I prepare one before getting into a fight, I can wrap up my prey without having to make thread in the middle of battle, so it's pretty handy. So essentially she makes a spider web, crawls around on the ceiling, and then jumps down and just wraps them up in their spider web right then and there. That's probably what she does. I tried other things too, like making clothes or detecting enemies with my silk, but those all ended in failure. I can't wear clothes to begin with, and while it isn't impossible to use thread to sense enemies, I take so much concentration that I wind up getting distracted and missing what's happening right in front of me, so I end up scrapping the idea. Since I have such a large food supply in the form of centipedes, I can afford to do my fruitless experiments. Today, as usual, I'm hard at work hunting. Whoo boy, is this centipede heaven or what? I hum a nasally little tune as I explore. Well, really, I'm just imagining music in my head. I can't actually hum. In fact, do I even have a nose? Well, no use worrying about that. Oh, the path is broken? Doesn't look impassable, though. This labyrinth isn't just huge, it also doesn't have any dead ends as far as I can tell. The path I've been following for a while now just keeps on going without any blockage. This is good, since it means I probably can't get cornered if something is chasing me. But when I consider that all the passages in this maze might go on this long, I feel like heaving a hopeless sigh. The break in the path ahead of me is due to some kind of cliff. In the middle of the interrupted road, I can see a wide, empty space. Have I finally passed out of this narrow maze zone? If so, what kind of place is next? Nothing like the spider hell I first came from, I hope. I peek over the edge of the cliff cautiously. Aeroferric level 2 status appraisal failed. Aeroferric level 2 status appraisal failed. Oh boy. Aeroferric level 2 status appraisal failed. 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 And so on and so forth. Proficiency has reached the required level. Skill appraisal level 4 has become appraisal level 5. It's because you had your appraisal skill on constantly, because you try to keep track of your HP and everything, that this happened. Ah, my head! The information from my appraisal floods my brain, making it acting as if someone smashed a hammer into it. Whew, I felt like I was going to faint for a moment. That was close. I guess if you appraise too much at once, the excessive information literally hurts. It makes sense that they can knock you out. Wait, enough information that I almost lost consciousness? Nervously, I peered down over the cliff again. Really, it's only about 3 feet high. Right below, there's a wide, spacious area. But despite its size, the area doesn't actually feel particularly roomy. That's because it's teeming with centipedes. It's a centipede nest. What the hell is this? Centipedes, 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 as far as the eye can see. Oh, that's disgusting. I feel like I'm going to be sick. Huh? What are you all looking at, Mr. Centipedes? Me? Come on, what could you be interested in me for? You better go. Run. Because now they've noticed you and they want to eat you, probably. Okay, I better book it. Fly like the wind. I turn around and sprint back the way I came. Better. Eek, they're chasing me! I'm sorry I got carried away. Please just call it even. My yellow stamina gauge is empty. It hurts, but I'll die if I stop now. I have to run for my life if I want to survive. With the yellow bar gone, the red one begins to slowly decrease. In the end, I run until about half of the red gauge is depleted when I finally manage to lose the centipede army. Man, I thought I was seriously going to die back there. Woo. Okay. I think I'm going to end this one up here. I will see you guys in the next video.